So I feel obligated to start off the podcast by apologizing.
Oh, I love this. Go on.
No, Jackie Chan was not in this movie, despite a controversy whether or not he was actually in this movie.
I literally felt like the whole movie we were doing like a Where's Waldo / Where's Jackie Chan situation, because the whole movie we were like, is that him? Is it him? No. No.
Which is a little bit kind of questionable in terms of...
No, it's because you told me he was in the movie, so I was looking for him, and a lot of the characters in the movies didn't show their face for like a good portion of the time. Those sun hats, though.
So I had mentioned that he was in this movie for our last podcast, and he's definitely not in this movie.
Well, but he was considered for the movie, so
he was considered for the movie, and then there were rumors that he may have made a cameo, and there's a lot of different things that are online that are wrong.
And did you see the picture for the cameo that they thought it might be him?
It definitely looks like Jackie Chan.
Like, if that's not Jackie Chan, which I think that thread that we found, it gave like a possible who the actor was.
Right.
But that's like his doppelganger. Like,
oh, it's basically the same person.
Yeah, so I mean, I could totally understand. But they said that the reason Jackie Chan wasn't in the movie was because his English wasn't good enough. Or that's what I read. I mean, obviously these could be like fake rumors that we see online or whatever. But
right. I heard that same thing.
But I'm just wondering, the person who played the character, how do we feel about his English?
The main character?
It was Wang Chi.
Yeah.
He was supposed to play Wang Chi.
I do think he had decent English.
Yeah, better than Jackie Chan?
Well, Jackie Chan now versus when he started is different.
Well, true, but he was in other movies before. There was like, I want to say The Protector was one that I saw, but I could also be making that name up, but I don't think so.
Yes, he started his career in the late 70s, early 80s for Jackie Chan at least.
Career, like
in the United States,
movies, right?
Yes, he's a classically trained Chinese opera singer, and he was a big deal in China, and he also did a lot of stunts in Hollywood.
I mean, I will say that the people in this movie, there wasn't any like really hard to understand people or anything like that. So I mean, obviously that's what they were going for. So,
right. So the movie, by the way, is Big Trouble Little China.
In Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. Which,
Google searching that, I type Big Trouble China.
No.
I don't recommend it.
No?
No,
okay.
Don't recommend it.
So, neither of us had seen it, right? I hadn't seen it, you hadn't seen it. And I gotta say, I don't get it.
I know. And it's so cute. It's so typical of you. You wouldn't get this kind of movie. But I mean, so I heard about this movie a lot through other podcasts. A lot of people, this is like on their top like 10, top 20, whatever list of like all-time best movies.
And they're wrong. People are wrong. Those people are wrong.
Well, but let's be fair. You don't understand a lot of things that are not literal. Like,
this movie came out in 1986, right?
Yes.
So that was the year I was born, so I wouldn't have been able to see it when it had come out originally.
So you don't appreciate movies from when you were born or before, or...
Well, no, this movie had a very, very distinct 80s feel to it.
Oh, of course.
It had all of the classic 80s soundtrack, the 80s action movie tropes.
You liked the soundtrack. You said throughout the movie.
I did like the soundtrack. That was the best part of this whole movie.
And I mean, since we're talking about it, I mean, John Carpenter, the director, did actually make the soundtrack. He scored his own movie, and his band actually played one of the songs. His band, Coupe de Villes. They even released an album for it. Like, that's pretty cool.
Well done, but the rest of the movie, not so well done. I'm not a fan.
I feel like now we need to go and watch like other John Carpenter movies just to decide if you just don't like him or if you just don't like this particular type of movie.
Well, I've seen a couple other John Carpenter movies. I mean... Like? The Thing.
And? Your thoughts?
I mean, that's a classic horror movie. I mean, it's...
Well, you're not the biggest fan on horror.
No, but it's definitely a classic rather than... I don't know why I don't like this movie particularly. I just don't.
I do. I absolutely know why.
You know why? Why?
Because you don't like the fact that the main character of the movie was useless and that he was supposed to be useless, but you like wanted him to be an actual hero, and it bothered you the whole movie.
Yes, it did. That's exactly what it is. Thank you.
You're welcome. You complained enough.
Well, he was the sidekick in his own movie.
But that was the point.
Be that as it may, it still drove me up the wall. It drives me crazy. I can't
Do you see yourself in him, or is he like the type of guy that, like, I don't know, beat you up as a kid in high school? Like, why does it bother you so much? Like, it was a visceral reaction. You the whole time were like, does he know he's useless? He's useless. Like, why is he so useless? I don't like that false braggadocio kind of mentality. That's what's supposed to be funny. I don't like it. I just don't. Kurt Russell in those days was pretty cute. So, I could watch him be pretty much the biggest buffoon in the world and I wouldn't care. Well, yeah, he worked out like a crazy person. He ran like 2 miles every day and started lifting weights for this movie months in advance, supposedly. I like how you have to justify why he's attractive. I think this is adorable. Keep going. You're entertaining me. No. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning of the movie. So we see him, he's a truck driver, and we see him driving into Chinatown to apparently gamble, I think was his intent. Well, I really think that he was delivering something, and then he was there, he might as well gamble. That's how I took it. Alright, okay. But regardless, he ended up gambling. He ended up gambling and actually winning, somehow. That's one of the few things that he didn't. And it seems he wins quite often. From the reactions of people and from the reactions of the guy who actually ends up being the hero, it seems he wins quite a bit. Well, right. He has this whole, his life is perfect and nothing goes wrong, kind of classic 80s. The hero is being shot at from a foot away and can't get hit. See, that didn't bother you in, what was the movie? The movie we watched with Daniel Day-Lewis when he was beautiful. Last of the Mohicans? Yeah. It didn't bother you in that, but... Well, that's a 90s trope. Oh, it's a trope that carries all the way through. Got it. So your childhood tropes are fine, but your before childhood tropes, not okay. Got it. I'm just keeping up. No, just in this particular movie it didn't work. Not in general, just this particular movie I didn't care for it. Okay. So they gambles, and he wins, and then the kid... What's the hero's name? Wang Chi or something like that? Okay. So he gets upset that he loses and says, double or nothing, and then he says he's going to cut a bottle in half with a knife, and Kurt Russell is like, nah, use this bottle, and switches the bottle, which I don't really quite understand. Well, Kurt Russell was concerned about there being something not the same about the two bottles. Like, he was concerned... They both drank beer out of it, like, during the scene. Well, he's just concerned that it was a trick bottle. Right. So that's why he switches out the bottle, then it flies in and he catches it with his quick reflexes. It's all about the reflexes. I'm going to say that all the time now because I know it's going to bug you, so... It is going to bother me. So he owes him a whole crap ton of money, goes to the airport to pick up his fiancée because that's just thrown in there. This movie had a lot of tracking issues, I feel. Like, it was hard to follow, it was a mishmash of things just thrown together. So, the impression that I got of that was that we were following through how Kurt Russell was seeing it all, or Jack Burton, whatever you want to say. Right. But how he was seeing it, and I think he was confused, so that relayed over to the audience. Like, he was like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, all these things are just happening to me. Because he seems like that type of character. Like, I didn't cause any of this. I didn't do any of this. Everything's just happening to me. Everything's being thrown at me, and I don't understand what's going on. So I think that's how the audience was receiving it, because we're receiving it through his perspective. That's how I interpreted it. It could totally be wrong, but that's just how I viewed it. Well, that makes sense. I didn't even consider that when I was watching the movie, honestly. There's a lot I don't consider. I know. I wanted to help maybe, give you a little bit of, I don't know, appreciation for a classic movie. No? So they go get his fiancée with green eyes. And do we want to talk about those eyes, or are we just going to leave that on the table? No, we can talk about the eyes. So there are two actresses in this movie that have green eyes that don't actually have green eyes. First of all, I'm really questioning if Alice Gray, who plays Margot, has green eyes. Because I swear in one of the scenes she had green eyes. I'm telling you she did. Plus she also kind of mildly has red hair, so it makes sense. But regardless, two definite actors that have green eyes that don't have green eyes. Fake green eyes. But what is her name? The heroine, not heroine, but the girl that they're going after the whole time. What's her name? Which one? There's two of them. The fiancé. The fiancé is Mylin. Oh, right. Something like that. Her green eyes aren't even believable. I'm sorry, but I've never seen anybody with eyes like that. They looked like they were glowing from behind. Like there was some...
Well, they are contacts, so...
Well, do we know that?
Yes, they were contacts.
Oh, okay.
For both her and...
I totally called it. Did I not say it when I saw her? I totally called it.
Well, when I was doing the research for this, apparently it was more subtle in the original release, but now with high definition, it becomes blatantly obvious that they're fake contact eyes.
Well, it just...
So I think we watched it in high def, which
probably.
is probably just hits you in the face with it, rather than the original release where it's green eyes and it's, oh, that's unusual, but...
Yeah, no, those eyes were like, what the heck is wrong with her? Does she have some problem? Is she maybe like the demon? Like, I was questioning a lot of things.
Is she feeding on children?
Yeah, there was a lot of thoughts going through my mind. But anyways, I, of course, went down a rabbit hole of doing a lot of research about green eyes because I just needed to, because just,
Because you have green eyes?
I don't have green...
Blue
I
green
like
eyes.
to believe that my eyes are blue, but yes, sometimes they are green. Which, in my research, I found out that they really can change my moods, so I don't just make that up. They really can. So, hey, keep me in a good mood and it'll be a good color. Anyway, so 2% of the world's population has green eyes. Like, 2%. I feel like it's bigger than that, though, because I feel like I know people with green eyes. Like, a lot of people, not just
You know people that say they have green eyes that are not really green.
You think so?
Yes. I would bet any sum of money on it, basically.
I, now want to go hang out with all my friends that say they have green eyes and just stare at them, like, real creepy. Like, do you want to do a staring contest and just really take note of their eye color? Can I do that?
They're probably either hazel brown with a little bit of twinge of green or blue with a little bit of green in there.
I need to do a social experiment. How creepy would that be? How about we go to a park and we just ask people, can I look at your eyes, and just get real close? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good way to get arrested.
I mean, it's all for science. So, no.
I still would rather not go to prison.
Okay. But regardless, 42.8% of men on a survey that was done say that green eyes is the most attractive eye color. So basically what, y'all trying to find Atlantis? Like, there's only 2% of the population, but 42.8% of men want women with green eyes. So...
Yes, there's a discrepancy. There's an imbalance.
That's a very big discrepancy.
It's the classic case of supply versus demand. There's not a whole lot of supply. Demand is high.
Do you think green eyes are the most attractive color?
I mean, I do like green eyes.
Are they the most attractive color out of all eye colors?
I don't really have a ranking system 1 through however many eye colors are.
You don't?
No, I don't.
But eye color is, so important.
I mean, I like green eyes, I like blue eyes. It's just any color eyes, as long as they're nice eyes, is fine.
Any color eyes?
Any color eyes.
So, brown, dark, that almost looks black, yellowy color.
Depending on if they look nice and not possessed and want to kill me in my sleep, yeah, it's fine.
How diplomatic of you.
I have nothing if not diplomatic, apparently.
Nope. Nope, too easy. You walked right into it. Okay, we can move on. Go on.
So they go to the airport to pick up the fiance, and she gets kidnapped by a gang that's just at the airport with guns. They somehow got into an airport with guns and knives.
It's the 80s. Go with it.
Sure. And they take her away, and they put her in the back of a sports car, and they attempt to run down Kurt Russell and the other man, which that scene was actually filmed in reverse and sped up. I don't know.
Is that why it looked so weird when she was being taken away in the back of the car? It was this weird shake to it that it just
it was filmed in reverse and then sped up because they didn't have access to stunt doubles, so there was Kurt Russell and the other dude.
Ah, gotcha.
And they didn't want to hit them with a car. So they
that
did
makes
it
sense.
They did it backwards.
Ah, okay. Because they did have a weird
Yes, I noticed that it was kind of odd because it was a very fast moving car, and it just seemed off somehow. Yeah. I couldn't place it, and then I read that when I was doing the research, and I was like, oh, well, that explains why it looked odd.
That does explain it. Okay.
So she gets taken to Chinatown, where they go, in San Francisco. And
he drives that truck down real narrow streets, and he does a turn, I don't even know what you call it, but you stop and you turn real fast, and then if he's that kind of a truck driver, more power to him. But
well, he does have on the front of his truck hauling ass with a pinup. So
I just
he
feel
definitely
like...
is that type of guy. I drive as fast as I can see.
Right, true, but still, I mean, pretty epic moves, but alright. Then they run into the Chinese standoff, which, by the way, I looked up. And it still is only called Mexican standoff. Chinese standoff is not a thing.
Well, it was just so forced in there. Like, it was just a funeral procession with automatic machine gun fire and just automatic weapon fire.
Was the guy that died, that they were having the funeral for, important in any way, shape, or form? Because I couldn't figure that out. But they destroyed his coffin and his picture, so I thought, like, maybe there was a significance, but...
Well, I think in that world, he's the leader of the gang that was carrying him through the streets.
Oh, okay. See, but I missed that part.
He wasn't... We don't care about him because he was a character that we didn't even get to meet. It was just a picture of him.
In fairness, we don't care about a lot of the characters in this movie.
Well, the majority of them, they're just thrown in there, and then you're like, oh, well.
Right. But during the standoff, I would like to mention the fact that the likelihood of that truck receiving 0 damage and the tires still working after those machine guns just feels low to me. Like, pretty low. Like,
no bullet holes in the glass, no ricochets, no punctured tires. There was a lot of shooting.
Right, like, that's impressive if they could do that. But first of all, why would they? Like, they don't have any reason to protect the truck, so why would they protect the truck? And second of all, they were doing, like, a whole, like, full, machine
full
gun
automatic
motion. Yeah.
Spray and pray kind of thing.
So, is the truck magical and just has, like, an aura around it? Like explain to me the situation.
Poor 80s, filming.
No, this is the problem with the sci-fi genre.
It was not.
Yes, it is.
It was.
My issues with sci-fi.
This is not sci-fi. This is.
It's not sci-fi. What happens next? Go ahead. It's not sci-fi.
It's fantasy, not sci-fi.
I'm sorry. What happens next? I'm gonna wait.
Some guys come out of the sky and shoot electricity.
Oh, okay. So.
Yes, it's not exactly sci-fi. I would say it's more fantasy.
I mean, you're splitting hairs here.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but it's still.
You're just trying. You're sticking to it. I got it. I get it.
Lean into the turn. Just lean into it.
That's that country song, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, do you?
So the whole gangs basically just kill each other off for no reason in the middle of Chinatown, and then they go from shooting at each other to.
Did we want to talk about the fact that the gang in the tan suits? I don't know if they gave the name of them, but they all die, and then there's a whole nother batch of them that come out who are stronger and more powerful than the first batch and have.
Well, they didn't
all
die. The people in the front row died.
It was the street was clear, and then all of a sudden a bunch of people came out and they were like stronger, and I was very confused. Like, did you put like your pawns out first, or you're like, let's just sacrifice them?
And then they just go from shooting to hand-to-hand fighting with knives and...
Yeah, it was quite a interesting trajectory.
I was thinking that escalated quickly, and then that de-escalated equally quickly.
New meme. That de-escalated quickly.
Basically, it was just, you have guns, why are you now hitting a guy in the face with your hands?
Maybe it's, like, more badass to be able to say, like, I beat you one-on-one, like, mano-y-mano.
Well, start that way and then go to shooting at the end. There's natural progression to fights, and this one did not follow.
Well, but then the men with the lovely sun hats came out of the air.
Those stupid hats. Really, really the stupidest hat I have ever seen in cinema.
It's supposed to be funny.
They came out of the sky and killed everybody.
Yeah. With blue lightning that, like, surged through their whole body.
Well, right. So those guys, interesting enough, were at least partly responsible for Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
I know, I read that. And Lo Pan, which is the see-through man, was also responsible for... Hold, please. I'm going to find it.
Are you, though?
Oh, stop it. Was a blueprint for Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So now I want to play Mortal Kombat, if you were wondering, because I love that game.
Well, I haven't played Mortal Kombat in years, probably more than 10 years.
I just want to hear, finish him.
Right. That's just the highlighted that game.
Yeah, so we're going to play. Great. Good talk. So he drives through Low Pond, and it's weird and creepy, and he has the creepiest face and the white powder makeup. Not sure how I felt about it. Was a little confused about it. This
is Poe's father from Kung Fu Panda, who I'm sure is a lovely man, but apparently he plays creepy characters, so that's what he does.
Oh.
Or side characters where you don't really care for them or find annoying.
But I liked him as Poe's father.
Well, that's the one exception that I can think of. You played the weird guy that advised the Emperor and was obnoxious in Mulan. He did this character where he's the villain.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then we move on to them running away, and he goes back to, I want to say it's Wang Chi's house with the epic recliner. Look that up, by the way, if those actually exist, that flat recliner.
That was Gracie Law, her apartment/office.
Oh, okay. So, recliner does exist, but it's like $2,000, so...
It's worth every penny. That was awesome.
Right. But anyway, quickly through that, because they don't really do much. They just kind of...
They find out more about the mystical side of this whole movie, and that he's a cursed person that has no body anymore, and it's kind of...
Right. And then they go to that dungeon thing, right?
Well, they go to the shipping company...
which has the
dungeon in it, yes. And they get trapped in that creepy water...
Salt water, because apparently salt water is worse than regular water. I just don't know.
Then dead bodies there. That's not sanitary.
And those bodies moved. I'm telling you, one of the jaws moved. It was like...
Well, there was a lot of really gross scenes in this movie, like that one, or when he gets blinded and he splashes water in his face.
I forgot about that. That was so disgusting. No, I don't want to have pink eye or whatever other diseases I can get.
You're blind forever now with street sewer water.
Yeah, but they swam in it, so I guess, it is what it is.
No, it's just gross. And then they get out of the dungeon, and then they have to go back at the end of the movie to rescue everyone.
Right.
With a gun that magically stopped working and then started working again.
Oh yeah, that was annoying as heck, because I don't understand how they must have refilled it in between takes.
Yes, they reloaded it while they were in safety, because you can just buy ammunition that would function back then, I guess. I mean, today you have to have a whole big process, which is more political than we want to go. There's so many 80s tropes. No one got shot except for the bad guys. Not a single person got grazed or shot or wounded.
True. And so basically the rest of the movie is trying to save
the two female characters.
Right. So at one point in the movie, Gracie Law, which, by the way, lawyer with the last name of Law, real original, guys, real original. But regardless.
80s.
She gets captured as well because she has green eyes, and the guy comes out in this really old person makeup, terrible makeup. Seeing him up close, so bad. It's
just
layered.
Creepy, yeah.
But anyway, they decide that he's going to marry them both because he needs to sacrifice one of them to appease one of the gods to lift his curse. So they capture both of them so he can sacrifice Gracie Law and marry the other one. So the whole movie is them trying to save them. But Gracie Law's character never seems to be, entranced by this magical stuff. But the other one is always
I don't understand that, other than maybe it
Chinese
only works
thing?
on you if you believe it works.
So is this you can only see Santa Claus if you believe situation?
Well, it's there's the movie with Kate Hudson where voodoo only works on you if you believe in voodoo.
What movie? I love Kate Hudson. Tell me more.
It's Skeleton Key or something. It was not very good.
Oh, I think I've seen Skeleton Key. And
I didn't care. It was kind of
Watch your mouth. But anyways, yeah, it could be something like that, but it drove me crazy because she kept hey, look over here, whatever. And the other one's just in a trance. I'm hello? How does this happen? This doesn't make sense to me.
Well, there are a lot of inconsistencies like that where they get gassed in the elevator and that one guy is just magically impervious to getting gassed.
Well, he's magical.
He's in the elevator with them. No. And then the other guys go in the elevator with the gas pouring out and then are still fine.
Maybe they all had like an anecdote or something that they took before the fight scene.
But it just, no, those kind of things just jump out at you. It's like, come on. That's
You like sci-fi and these things bother you. It's baffling to me.
You're going to have to let that go.
I can't let it go. But regardless, so one thing about this part of the movie that I couldn't stop thinking about was the fact that it looked like Ninja Turtles, and you say it's just because it's a sewer.
Yes.
But like it looked like it's so much. Like they had like the pole thing that they go down like
the
a fireman's
pole into the sewer?
Yeah, they had that, and they had like popping up out of the sewer thing, and then it looked like there was going to be a Rat Man, but it was really just Sasquatch, so that was disappointing.
That thing was just, why was that in the movie at all? Like, I don't understand. That just was thrown in there because why?
I don't know, but it was totally a Sasquatch, so you totally called it.
And that he's at the end of the movie too. Like he's thrown into this movie in random places for no reason, and it's just.
And he has real creepy eyes.
Like it's real creepy everything. It's not really a Sasquatch because it's a weird face and just.
So everyone calls it online is a Sasquatch.
Because there's no other word to call it. It's
a monster.
A weird, hairy, humanoid monster.
Regardless, he was like the protector. It seemed like of the guy with no body.
Okay, Lopan.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what it seemed like. Does Lopan's name, by the way, remind you of Lo Mein at all, or is that just me being terribly culturally inappropriate?
A little bit, but it's mostly you.
Okay, I just want to know because
I didn't have that thought until you put it in my head now.
It could be because I'm hungry. I don't really know. So there you go.
Well, we have had a lot of Asian food or Chinese food recently. We had the dumplings that we made, and
now we're gonna have cookie dough dumplings. So I mean,
so excited for that. It's completely not related to this podcast, but we found a recipe for chocolate chip cookie wontons.
Well, it's related to the Kung Fu Panda podcast because I was looking for food related to that, and then it just happened.
Very excited.
Yeah. So
moral of that story: I'm very excited.
But anyways, back to Ninja Turtles. They actually paid tribute to this movie in one of their episodes. I think it was called like a ghost. A Chinatown ghost story. And I sent you the video.
You did.
And you said it was just blatant copying.
Well, it was. It was exactly the same concept. It was Lopan with 3 sky people coming down to cause problems, fighting the Ninja Turtles.
I thought when I watched it, you were going to say that you liked this better than the actual movie because it seemed more.
Oh, it definitely was better than the movie.
Yeah.
By far. I mean, Ninja Turtles I'm all about, but this movie I was not a fan. I don't understand why it's considered a cult classic. I don't get it.
Okay, so what was your thoughts on Kurt Russell's acting in the movie? Like,
fine. I mean, there's nothing overly wrong with his acting in this movie. It wasn't great, but it was just.
Do you know he's from Springfield?
Yes, we did look that up.
Yeah, so you're supposed to like the Boston actors, and he was most recently in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, he was the bad guy.
That's not relevant.
He was the world-destroying bad guy.
This is not relevant. I'm saying he is a really good actor, and you should appreciate the movie because it's one of his movies.
Well, it also bombed initially.
Well, okay, but I read that.
So I'm not in the majority. I'm not in the minority on this. I'm in the majority because it bombed.
I read that it bombed because the box office or the studio did not know how to promote it because of the fact that the main character was a useless buffoon. They promoted it improperly, like basically promoting him as
the action hero.
Right.
Well, it also came out against Alien, and you're not going to have a good time coming out against Alien in the 80s.
Right, and it said that it was sort of in competition with the Eddie Murphy movie Golden Child because it was another movie with Chinese mysticism that was very similar.
Well, they actually started this movie's production earlier to try to get it released before Golden Child. Right. When I looked at it, because they didn't want 2 similar movies coming out at the same exact time, so they got this one pushed forward to the middle of the summer rather than Christmas.
Now, have you seen Golden Child?
No.
I'm kind of curious to know if it's better or worse than this movie just based on the fact that they were kind of comparing themselves against it.
I would say it has to be better. I mean, because this movie was not.
If you go by the popularity nowadays, I would say that this movie must be better because I've heard about this movie way more than I've ever heard of Golden Child.
Which I still can't fathom because it's not a good movie. I don't like it at all.
Now, would you have liked it better as a Western, which was originally supposed to be?
I don't know. I can't imagine liking this movie more.
But you don't like it at all, so I feel like the bar's pretty low. I mean,
right.
It's only up from here.
Well, I also can't see a way where I like it less either. I don't see a way that they could have fixed it, or I don't see a way that they could have made it worse.
You realize how many people are going to attack you. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm fully aware. And
I'm really curious as to...
Bring it on. Bring it on.
I'm curious what other movies people are going to subject you to because you dislike this movie. To, like, try to get you to, like a movie in this vein. And then be like, haha, you liked that movie, so you should like this movie.
I will not break. I will not bend. Bring it on.
Alright, well, okay. So I wanted to do the audience ask section before we wrap up because some of these questions are quite funny. So let's see here. Well, we already kind of talked about that one. So, well, okay, this is kind of along the veins of what bothers you. So, this is from We Watched a Thing, and they say, inspired by an older The Countdown PC podcast, which we listen to, well, at least I listen to and make you do the list with me. Can a main character be considered comic relief, and is this movie an example of that?
Well, he's not the main character, though. People think he's the main character. He thinks he's the main character, but he's not the main character.
Because he's not the hero does not mean he's not the main character. Do we understand the distinction? He is the main character.
He doesn't provide a whole lot of comic relief because he's just... he rubbed him the wrong way, so I didn't find him funny.
So, no, he's not comic relief.
No.
You did not enjoy making fun of the fact that he was a buffoon the whole time.
No, I did enjoy that, but didn't find it funny. No.
Oh, this is so amusing to me. Well, I will say that I did think he was somewhat comic relief because, I mean, like, we got a big laugh out of, like, the stripper boots.
The stripper boots, he shot the ceiling and knocked himself out in the final boss fight.
Right? So, I mean, we got some good laughs out of him.
He had the knife in his mouth, which was a very fake knife, like a plastic rubber knife that he's biting and walking through the sewer.
See? So many laughs. So many laughs. Plus, I mean, he was, like, basically the, Magic Mike of the movie as well. So, I mean, he provided a lot of relief in the movie. In a lot of ways.
Do you need a moment?
I took one, don't worry. Let's see. Let's see here. So, from Too Much Scrolling, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in talks to star in a reboot in 2015. He has stated that the original is one of his favorite movies. Which role would you cast him in, Jack or Wang? Jack is the protagonist, but Wang is the action hero.
It has to be Jack, but don't do it. Don't do it.
You would put
yes,
The Rock
he would have to be the.
But I can't picture The Rock playing anybody that's useless. Like, he never plays.
Well, that's why it would work better, because he's The Rock, and he's been the action hero for his entire career.
Okay, I can see that. But, I mean, I don't usually do 3, but because this kind of goes with what we're talking about, Steve, EILFM podcast, has said, how is the reboot going to be the greatest movie ever made, and who would you cast? So, who would you cast makes me think. Like, if you could pick anybody, who would you put as Jack Burton? I'm thinking, like, maybe Johnny Depp.
No, you need a big, dumb, macho guy.
No, but Johnny Depp, like, in Pirates of the Caribbean, he thinks he's, like, the all-time best pirate ever, but he's pretty bad.
Yes, but he's slick at that. He's actually...
But I think that would make it funny.
I don't know. I think you need someone so over-the-top, big, huge, macho, like, classic 80s action hero where it's just...
Like Vin Diesel?
The Rock, Vin Diesel, just someone that is that mold, but then is also incompetent in this movie.
And who would you put as the protagonist?
The actual
Wang Chi, like Jack Chan?
The action hero, or Danny something or other. He's a blind guy from Star Wars, the new version. That died in Rogue One.
You want me to know an actor's name?
Yes.
Good luck.
He starred in Ip Man.
Because I've seen IP Man
not seen
that
it.
I say every time.
Ip Man. It's not IP Man. God. Just God no. Jackie Chan wouldn't be a bad choice, but now he's a little bit older.
We know.
Stop. Let it go.
Okay, so anyway, the other thing I just did want to mention is that we did get a podcast review from Blue02SS, and they listened to one of our older episodes. They said, I listened to the Saving Private Ryan episode, and I really enjoyed both the host's approach. I enjoyed the free talk. Garth Brooks was going to be in Saving Private Ryan. I didn't know that. Thank you guys for putting the show together. Continue to rock. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And okay, so what are we doing? Oh, well, first of all, what did you rate this movie? Even though I kind of already know.
6.
A 6? That's way higher than I expected you to say.
It kills me to give it a 6, but I can't. I'm gonna get murdered online if I don't give it at least a 6.
So 6 basically because of peer pressure, but
yes,
probably a 3 if you really had
realistically, probably like a 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I really did not like this movie.
All right. I would give it probably like a 7.5, 8. I'm not a super fan of sci-fi, as you know. Like, I'm just not. So that part bothered me. Anything that's not, I can't base in reality, I have an issue with.
Yes, but, I'm aware.
Yeah. So that detracted for me, but I did find it 80s funny. Like, just the way you would appreciate an 80s movie, I did appreciate it that way.
And you learned a new phrase.
What? Dull in the reflexes?
Plug.
No, I didn't learn it. I Googled everywhere to find out where it came from, and nobody knows.
But it is an expression for getting shot. I'll plug ya.
Yes, so if anybody knows how the I'll plug ya originated, because it doesn't make sense to me, then please email us at cinematicallycorrect@gmail.com, because it's going to drive me crazy. I have Googled everywhere. So that's that. What are we doing next week?
Next week is your choice, which was...
The Haunting in Connecticut.
The Haunting in Connecticut.
I think I heard it on a Jimmy Fallon talk show with Jennifer Lawrence bringing it up, so I'm excited to see it. And I plus love horror, so there's that.
We both enjoy horror.
What? Okay, sure. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to next week then.
All right. Well, a couple more thank yous, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yep, so I just need to thank Jake at Atheist Music for our intro and outro music.